In today's summer session, we'll be looking at how to use templates to create the perfect design for any object. Let's make this. So what we're going to do today is just create some templates using different basic shapes to help us design our projects better. And what it does is it not only makes sure that we keep things in the size that we're requiring, but it can also help us to create designs that actually fill up a whole space. So to start off with, I'm going to work with like a t-shirt. You could use this for a towel or, I don't know, a blanket or something like that. But if you go online, you can find a whole heap of different websites and images that will tell you the sizes that you need for different sized t-shirts, all the way from newborns through to 5XL. So all I do with this one is I just get the square shape. So I go to the shapes panel and then I click on the square, and then based on, say I was doing a large t-shirt, I've created a 20 by 20 centimeter square. Where it says basic cut, I actually go in and I will change that to guide. Now the reason I change it to guide is for two reasons. First of all, it makes it clear and see-through, so you're not trying to discern between the color of the square that you've created and the decal that you're creating. But also, when you go to make, it just disappears. That guide disappears. You don't have to remember to delete it before you go into your making. So previously, before that guide was there, you'd have to either delete the template or before you went into make, or once you got into make, you might have to actually delete it from the mats there. So that's a really good thing to do. So use that guide. And then all I'm doing is I'm moving that Happy New Year decal that we created last week with our layering tutorial, and I've just resized it. So that would mean that if I was having a t-shirt that I was going to wear to a New Year's Eve party, I would be able to then confidently decide that that's going to be the right size for the t-shirt that I would be wearing. You can obviously increase the size of the square or decrease the size of the square depending on the t-shirt you're using, but it's a really good way of using a template to create a design or help shape your design. Now the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with that rectangle, and I'm going to work on a bookmark. Now, lots of people with Cricuts, I think, have gone through the bookmark phase because they're really good to practice your different cutting skills and layering and offsets and all of that kind of stuff. So all you need to do is actually change the shape of that rectangle. Now I'm going to do it in two different ways. The first way is if I had just a rectangle bookmark. Now, a lot of acrylic bookmarks will come just as a straight rectangle, but the second one will be the rectangle with the curve over the top of it. Anyway, so I've resized it, and then I've gone over to images. I've found a new image that might fit on our bookmark, and then all I need to do is just resize and rotate. So I've gone to the corner of our new year loading, and I have rotated it, so you can see that the arrow changed into a curve, and then I'm just resizing it. Now what I could have done is at the top there left a space for where the hole would be for, let's say, a ribbon or something like that. So you could add that as one of your options. So the next one is the acrylic bookmark with a curved end. So I've just gone back into shapes and I found the semicircle, so the half circle. And then I'm just resizing it. Now, you could measure your acrylic bookmark, make sure that you've got the exact length, and then you change the height of that circle as well. Make sure that you go up and unlock the semicircle. But this one I'm using as just the straight semicircle. I've made it the same width as our rectangle. And then I just choose the semicircle and the rectangle. I go down to combine and I click on unite. And so what you see now is it's created a guide that is in the exact shape of our bookmark that we would be making. So I'm going to go into images, and I'm looking for something else that's a new year, and I want one that is an upright. So the new year loading, we had to turn on its side. I want something that's an upright shape. So I'm looking for like a wine glass, a champagne glass, something like that, that when we use it, we're going to know exactly what it is, and also do a little bit of trimming. So I've chosen this champagne glass, and what I'm going to do is make it so that it fills most of this bookmark. So you can see as I shape it, I'm going to resize it down to about a 4.7 width, which means that it's going to fit inside our bookmark, but it's not going to overlap. I'm going to make sure I've centered it. So you can see now you don't have to select both the shapes. You can actually move it, and that pink line will appear when it's in the middle. And once I've done that, you can see that there's a circle at the top. One of our bubbles is outside of our guide. Now, we could just go ahead and go, okay, well, that circle's not going to fit in. We'll just still cut it from our vinyl anyway. Or what we could do is actually slice this project. So I'm just going to select both the bookmark and the image. I'm just going to hit slice, and then I can just get rid of the circle that does not fit, and also get rid of the guides, because I don't need the guides anymore. So that's another way of using your template to create an image that fits perfectly inside. Now, the other thing I'm going to show you is how to use templates to select a part of a pattern. So I've just gone over to shapes, and I've selected a star. So this could be something that you might put on a t-shirt. This could be something that you're using for a card. It could be some cardstock or a vinyl thing that you're doing. But I've just chosen a random star. Then I'm going over to my images panel, and I'm typing in pattern, and I'm going to choose a pattern. Now, it could be any pattern that you like. I'm going to play with this one that's floral. This has not got anything to do with the new year, but I really like it. So then what I'm going to do is change the star to a guide, and then I'm placing my pattern that I've selected over the top of the square. Over the top of the star. I'm making sure that the star fits inside that pattern. So I don't want any of the pattern to be smaller than the star. I want it to be bigger. And then I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the champagne glass. I'm going to click on the pattern and the star. I'm going to go down to slice, and then I'm going to slice that. And you can see now that I've actually got that star with the pattern on the inside. That is very, like I said, can be really useful for things like HTV and regular vinyl. Great for doing it for t-shirts. It could be a really good way of using it for stickers as well. So you could actually turn that pattern then into a star-shaped sticker. So now that we've gone through and had a look at different ways you can create templates for your designs, why not jump over and see some of the ones that I've done in long form tutorials. So my favorite one was the I'm Buzzy canvas slip-on shoes. They are so cute. They did turn into my gardening shoes, and such a great way of not only using your HTV, but also learning how to use templates for your designs. And the other one I really liked was the French stripe teacher bookmark. I really enjoyed making that, and it puts into practice the bookmark template that I showed you previously. I hope you've learned something from today's summer session tutorial, and I can't wait to see you next week where we delve into the world of collecting images for our designs. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget you can always jump on my Instagram, head over to my Etsy store, or even check out the videos YouTube recommends for you down below.